Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the Napoli pack on eFootball. It's another live review, so there's going to be a little bit of chat interaction. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description for each player, so if you want to hear about a particular player, click in the description, there'll be a link to take you straight to them. And we're going to start with the lowest rated, I think, and that'll be Noa Lang. So this is an interesting one. If anyone hasn't noticed, they seem to have changed his position, because he's on eFootball Hub, at least. His GP card is a prolific wing and a left wing forward. But this card, he is a left midfield hole player. I find that weird, because I'm assuming at Napoli he's going to play as a wide forward because they do a kind of front three. But yeah, for whatever reason, this guy is a left midfield on a hole player. He's got a face scan. As far as I'm aware, this is the first time I've had a version of Noa Lang that we can use in the league change. So that's an immediate advantage over previous versions because he used to be PS3. There's no league change for them. He's got standard form. We can't see it because it's hidden behind my stupid camera thing. And skill-wise, they've also added a couple of skills. They've added, as far as I can see, long range curler and first time shot. So this is one of these highlight cards, one of the kind of rare highlight cards where they actually make a few changes to skills and positions and things. So he's got left midfield. He doesn't always have that. They've not just changed his registered position, they've added left midfield, and they're giving long range curler, which is a big addition, and first time shot is a good one. Already got through passing, pinpoint crossing, soul control. He's got a nice set of skills there ready for a winger. So let's go and find out how good he is on eFootball Hub, if I can find it. Where is it? It's right there. There we go. So I'll just max him out and I'll check other versions of him. So yeah, it looks pretty solid. We have had other versions of Lang, like I say, when he was at PS3 and stuff. We've had a couple of player of the weeks. Prolific winger, slightly better overall. Stats kind of shuffled around a little bit. Not major difference really. And he's had a left midfield roaming flank player of the week card. Likewise, not quite as good. But yeah, again, shuffled around. So there's not a massive difference with either of them, to be honest. It seems like it's kind of one each way. And then a couple of highlight cards, both left wing forward, both prolific winger, both pretty similar overall. But like I say, you got the one advantage with this card where he's a Serie A. It's a Serie A card, so you can use in the Italian League Challenge. So that is an advantage. And in terms of his GP card and the way they boosted him, the biggest boost they give him to any of his attributes are tight possession, finishing, and kicking power. So yeah, you got a solid looking left mid or left winger. Whole player playing style will be active left midfield. He won't be active if you play him as a left wing forward. It will be active attacking mid and SS where he can also play. Yeah, would that change much with the way he's built? I'm not sure. One thing to keep in mind, by the way, I just noticed this the last couple of days. I think someone mentioned it on Discord earlier. eFootball Hub's now giving us 89 rated manager for game plan boost on web instead of 88. So that's not going to make a massive difference. The main difference that makes, or the only difference it really makes, is that stats go up from instead of 85 for the threshold to go up by 3, they start going up by 3 at 84. So any stats that are 84 will go up by 3 now. That's really the only difference. So it's not making a massive difference, but just so that you know. So yeah, would I change a lot here? Don't know, not really. I don't think a lot needs to change. You might want to maybe hit the 90 mark on dribbling. It'd be nice if you hit 90 there. You could easily nip one away from dexterity. You're taking up one off defending, and boom, straight up to 90 dribbling. You might say passing's not so important. You could take a bit of passing there, get even more onto his on-the-ball attributes. That looks pretty nice. All three of them 90 plus. Or you could take one back from there, get his kicking power to 90. There's a few things you could do shuffling points around, but I don't think you need to do a great deal if you're playing him left wing. Got some pace, he's pretty decent on the ball, a little bit of end product. Remember, he's got some good skills there through passing, long range curler, for example. Well, Gwendolyn, you're here. Decent attack awareness as well, especially for a whole player. Yeah, he's pretty tidy. It's not a top card by any means, but yeah, looks pretty neat for a left wing. And in other positions, and not playing in centre mid, he's nowhere near strong enough physically or defensively. Attack mid or SS is still kind of number 10 build. You might be able to make his passing half decent, to be fair. So hang on, don't need quite as much pace for attacking mid. Can we go up to 12 and passing? What goes? Okay, so you could get away with him as an attacking mid, to be fair, or kind of SS just behind the attack there. 88 low pass, he's got through passing. If you're going to do that, I think one touch pass would be well worth giving him. Fighting spirit as well, because he's not too strong physically. Yeah, I think he could be decent attacking mid. Not amazing. I don't think he's an amazing one to use in that area. I think these days on the game, a bit more physical contact is probably arguably necessary in that area of the pitch. But yeah, certainly can get his passing to a decent level, and he's still quite decent elsewhere as well. So you've got the option attack mid or SS, in both of which positions whole player will be an active playing style. If you're going to play him wide right, even going up to 12 and passing, he only gets lofted pass up to 80. He does have pinpoint crossing, but at 80 lofted pass, I think even with pinpoint crossing, his crossing won't be that great. Sure, you got the option. He could do a job there for you, but outside of, you know, if you're going to be whipping crossing as a right foot on the right, he might not be that great. Outside of that, though, obviously you can make some decent runs from right midfield as a whole player, and likewise from wide forward. He doesn't have to cross the ball, so it could be an option for you there. But I think he'd be better coming off the left wing. Long range curler on his right foot, bit of end product, decent skills, pretty handy. Can do a half decent number 10 build, and then centre forward. I'm just going to auto allocate. I don't think he's going to be very good striker. Oh, he's not bad actually. He's all right. Pretty rapid, great acceleration, good balance, fairly tidy on the ball for striker. 89 attacking wins, 88 finishing. Could be worse. Not amazing. I'd like to go 90 plus in both of those for striker, but if you position training for striker, he's got first time shot, couple of shooting skills there, tidy on the ball, through passing. You could do worse as centre forward, so I think that's an alright card. I think that's a decent one. Not an amazing one, but certainly you've got a few ways you can use him. You could put him on the right, you could play him through in the middle, you can play him left, you could even make him a striker, so that's a tidy one, that. And yeah, whole player, which is not his normal playing style, so it's a little bit different to Noa Lang normally. We've got low bench curler and first line shot, I think it was, new skills thrown in. I think that's a fairly tidy card. That's not a bad one at all. So yeah, not bad that at all. Fairly two-footed. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Right. Who have we got next? We've got Spinazzola. So where's my notes? We know he's got a face scan. Fullback finisher. Not my favourite playing style for fullback, but it is what it is. Again, you can't see the form. It's standard form he's got. I don't think I've changed anything with the playing style, positions or anything. Oh, they've changed some skills. Okay, so what have they added there? Interception and man marking. Is it through passing that's new? I made a note of this. Yeah, through passing, man marking, interception, all new skills. So those are some nice skills to add. Through passing, not always the most important one in a fullback, but he's a fullback finisher, so he will drift inside and be in central positions. So through passing, a very nice addition. He's already got pinpoint crossing for when he is out wide, and then man marking, interception defensively. So skill-wise, you've had a big upgrade there. So that's pretty nice. We've had quite a lot of Spinazzola cards over time, or highlights. A couple of the ones from when he's at Roma are a bit better than this one, so this isn't the best Spinazzola card we've had. And if you got the version from when he joined Napoli, there's one that kind of new transfers pack. This one is virtually identical. You do not need this one if you got that one. He's had a pretty even boost from his GP card. Most attributes up by 2 at level 1. They put 5 on kicking power, 4 on defensive engagement and aggression, and that's about it really. So let's go over to eFootball Hub, which is round about there. There it is. Right. So let's train him up. We know it's not the best Spinazzola, but is it any good? It's all right. There's quite a lot of attributes in the 70s there, but as always, they've gone absolutely crazy on lower body speed, which, if that's what you want to do in your fullbacks, fair enough. But I don't think you need 96 speed. I don't think you need 95 stamina, and kicking power is not the most important thing in fullbacks. So I'm nicking some points back from there. I'm going to go down to 7. I'll at least keep his stamina and speed 90 plus. I need him to defend a bit better. Let's at least get his tackling to the 80 mark. And if he's a fullback finisher, he's going to be getting on the ball a bit, pushing into the midfield and so on. Let's just do that. In fact, we could probably afford to nick a couple of ferries. We've got decent physical strength for a fullback, actually. Get that low pass at the 80. He's got through passing. I would do that. So balance is a little bit iffy. Not quite hitting 80 for all the defensive attributes. So a bit of a question mark defensively. Maybe we have improved that a bit. We've at least got tackling to 80. We've had to put a few points down the left-hand side there to improve him a bit defensively. Offensively, sorry. Attacking awareness is pretty good, as well as defensive awareness. Well, defensive awareness isn't actually, is it, for a fullback? But attacking awareness is 79. Is very decent for a fullback. Yeah, he's decent. I don't think it's an amazing one. Just checking what's chat saying. What's chat saying about Spinazzola? I missed some feedback on Noa Lang. Could be really good. Certain attributes lacking a bit, and others love a whole player. Yeah, I do like a whole player, definitely. Nominate contracts I'll look at tomorrow because I'm doing a live review. No feedback on Spinazzola. Yeah, we're live, deleter. You just got in, no eyes, dude. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's an alright fullback. I think the big thing is the fullback finisher playing style. I don't like it personally. I don't like them drifting all over the pitch, pushing right up into the attack. But if you like it, pretty solid. Not amazing. I think he's, you know, like I say, there's a couple of better Spinazzolas we've had. Not much change from the version I had. Yeah, you might have had the new transfer ones, virtually identical, very little difference. So yeah, very usable. I don't think it's an amazing one though. Let's just try 1 or 2 other positions. If we take everything off defending, can we push him up the pitch a bit, make him a winger? Did we get another 88 dribbling? Yes. 85 lofted. A little bit more dexterity. And you get as a winger, it's not bad. I mean, would you put him on the left? Maybe. Probably more likely on the right. Putting crossings, got pinpoint crossing, get the lofted up to 85. Really not got much curl on his crosses, but it's not the most important thing. I always say with crossing, curl is more about the angle you're crossing from. Sometimes you don't want too much curl. He's got a big kicking power. So yeah, put him on the right hand side. Pretty fairly tidy on the ball. Decent cross. He's got attack awareness at the 80 there. Bit of pace. Could be an option right mid. You'd have to position train him. Maybe a decent option. I'm not sure many people will run position training for that though. And then centre mid. I mean, can you get his passing good enough for centre mid? No, you can see that straight away. And you've taken to get his passing to even a half decent level. You've taken everything off defending. I don't see this guy as a centre mid at all. So yeah, or sneaky centre back maybe. We do love a sneaky centre back. No, fully boosted. Not great defensively. Poor physically. Got some pace, but no, there's not enough strength there at all as a centre back. So yeah, as a left back or a right back, could be a handy option for the Italian League Challenger. Versatile fullback who can play on either side. Nice additions to his skills. Just be mindful of that playing style. If you don't like the playing style, that might be a drawback for you. It is for me, but if you don't mind that playing style, could be a handy one. Not an amazing one though. Right, who is next? Neres. I quite like Neres. Right, where are my notes? So Neres. This is a decent one. This Neres card. We've had a Player of the Week card, and this one's slightly better than his Player of the Week card, but as always, it's kind of stats are shoved around a bit. He's had a few highlight cards, and they all go to about the same level. And this one's pretty much on par with all of them, really. So it's about as good as we've had. He's had a pretty even boost again. Most of the attributes up by 1 or 2. The biggest boost is +7 on physical contact, which is not the most important one, but it does help. And there's a few points on his tight possession, low pass, finishing, and kicking power. So yeah, looking like a tidy card. He's got a face scan, of course. He's got standard form again. All standard form so far. It's not a great start, but it's not the end of the world. Skill-wise, no change there. He's got a decent selection. Long-range curler, through passing, pinpoint crossing. So similar to Noa Lang, really. Don't think there's anything he's desperately lacking, really, as a left footer on the right-hand side. If you put him on the left, he's got pinpoint crossing. So yeah, pretty decent selection skills there. Let's go train him up, though. Where's the hub? The hub is right there. So... yeah, fairly tidy. I've got a David Neres card. I got a highlight from some kind of I think it was when I originally spammed Danielson, actually, the one with Danielson, Neymar and Romario in it. I think I got it from that pack. Got some decent highlights in that one, Militao and a couple of others. But yeah, this one's like I say, it's the same kind of level as all his previous highlight cards. My one's been pretty tidy. He's not exactly one of my first picks if he's on form, but I've got no problem using him. He's always been pretty tidy for me, especially with my Brazil squad. As you can see, he's fantastic on the ball there. He's got a little bit of end product, pretty good attacking awareness, decent pace. Not got amazing speed, but the acceleration's good, the balance good. Not much stamina. I'm sure mine's got a bit more stamina than that, or maybe I just don't remember right. But yeah, would I change much? Yeah, I think the obvious things, you can nick a bit off his dribbling there. Would you make him quicker? Would you maybe make his shooting a bit better? A few things you can do, a few ways you can swing it. You can actually nick one from dexterity if you wanted. Yeah, there's a few ways you could swing it. I don't think anything will make I don't think it's gonna make a huge difference. You don't have a huge amount of points you can really spare to kind of beef him up in a lot of areas. I think it's just really the lower body I'd like to beef up a bit more there. I'd like to get that a bit higher, a bit more kicking power as well as speed, but he's not slow by any means. I think he's pretty tidy on the right. He's got, like I say, he's got a good selection of skills. Pretty much par for the course for a Neres highlight card. He's a handy one. Could you play him through the middle? Let's do a number 10 build. It's going to come down to that passing, I think. Don't need the pace so much. Got to get him up to... We'll go up to 12. That's really the mark for passing in it. We can get up to 88 again. A couple of points there. Stick him back on lower body. Sacrificed a bit on the ball, but we need that passing. Again, like with Noa Lang, you've got through passing, but you don't have one-touch pass. I'll give him that. I'll give him fighting spirit as well, because again, he's not physically strong. If you play him in the middle there, especially attacking midfield, he will get tired because his stamina is not good. But yeah, again, he's got a bit of end product there. If you play him as a number 10 in that kind of either attacking mid or SS, he's gonna be tidy on the ball. Yeah, could do a job, but Not sure it's really what the position train is necessarily. Wide left, either left midfield or left wing forward. Would his crossing be decent? It'd be a bit better than Noa Lang's. 84 lofted, 84 curl, 81 kicking power. He's got pinpoint crossing. He could be decent there, pretty decent on the ball, but you've lost a bit of pace by getting that passing up. So would you want to put a bit more pace on him? In which case, you probably have to sacrifice a bit from his lofted pass. Or you could take some points off shooting. Maybe shooting's not as important. He's playing out wide. We got out to 2 on shooting. Let's just see. Hang on. I mean, you can't get much speed back on him. You can get out to 8 on nobody at least, up to 87 speed. Maybe just put those last 2 back on shooting. Yeah, I think I'd be tempted to do that. He could be decent, I think, on the left, actually. I've not used mine on the left, but you've got the option. Certainly with pinpoint crossing as a left footer on the left, you could put a decent cross in. So, yeah, you've got that option. Could be decent there. And then centre forward. I'm going to guess no again, but I guess no with Noa Lang, and I was wrong. Yeah, so this guy's not quite as good up front as Noa Lang. So this is fully boosted. 85 awareness, 84 finishing is not great at all. You could get away with it if you really don't mind those 2 attributes, but for me, they're a bit on the low side. He does not have first-time shot, which is an important one. Everywhere else, they can go for a striker, but yeah, I don't fancy him as a striker. But if you're really desperate, you could put him up there. He could do a job for you. And then, like I say, attacking mid maybes. Left wing could be decent, but certainly off the right wing as a left footer, cutting onto his left foot with long range curler. He's got a bit of end product, and his passing won't be too bad as well. Through passing, I think it's a decent one. Not bad at all. So, yeah, another decent card. That not bad at all. Right, who's next? Rrahmani. Right, where's my notes? So Rrahmani is a build-up. So this is another interesting one. Rrahmani, they have changed his playing style. So normally an extra frontman, they made him a build-up. Not changed anything else with skills or anything else like that, but they've at least changed his playing style. Got a face scan. He's a pretty big dude, about 6'3", 6'4". He's got unwavering form, so we got our first unwavering form in this pack. And skill-wise, no changes, but we've got a fairly good selection, except for the fact we don't have interception, which is a big miss. So if you get this card and you plan to use it, I would strongly recommend giving it interception if you've got the skill trainers. Fighting spirit as well. What have we got? Heading and aerial. So then so interception and fighting spirit. I would give him those 2 skills, especially interception. You could probably get away with not having fighting spirit because he's going to be quite physically strong. But it still does help though. So yeah, interception and fighting spirit. 2 skills he is lacking there, but let's go train him up, see how good he is. Let's jump back over to the hub. Where is Rrahmani? There he is. Right there. So Rrahmani, I'll just get him all trained up. We've had a bunch of versions actually. We've had a bunch of Player of the Week versions of Rrahmani. I thought we'd have maybe 1 or 2. We had 5. And to be honest, this card's around about the same level as the better ones. So comparing to his Player of the Week cards, he stacks up pretty well. Only had 1 highlight. That was an extra front man. Round about the same, not a lot of difference. And he's had another fairly even boost from his GP card. Nothing really majorly stands out. Just kind of a bit more pace than his GP card at level 1. That's the main kind of difference really. And yeah, it's a solid centre back card. I wouldn't do a huge amount with the point allocation. In fact, I don't think I'd do anything really. He's not the quickest. I think maybe a year or so ago you'd have said that pace is probably okay. Right now it looks a little bit on the low side to me now, because centre backs nowadays that they seem to be getting a lot more pace. But yeah, he's not going to be too slow. He's going to be a big physical guy. He's got a bit of physical strength. Defense is all 90 plus. Passing's fairly nice for centre back. Yeah, or apparently he's got Marseille turn. That's a lie. He doesn't have Marseille turn. That's eFootball being naughty. But yeah, unmoving form, Italian new challenge, build up centre back. Solid. It's not amazing. But yeah, I don't think I'll change a great deal. What's the vertical? Yeah, so 277 vertical reach. I wouldn't bother trying to shuffle points around to get his jump up. I think he'd be fine in the air. I think it's just a solid centre back. He's not the quickest. But yeah, essentially, it's a solid centre back. He's all right. He's not bad at all. Just does need those 2 skills. I'll give him fighting spirit, but I would definitely give him interception. He really needs interception. In terms of other positions, you're going to make Rrahmani a fullback? I don't think you are, but let's find out. What's it saying for auto allocation? Yeah, he's not got great speed, and he's also a big physical guy as well. He's not gonna be quick. He's not gonna feel quick either. I would not recommend using this guy as a fullback. I doubt he's gonna be any good as a DMF either. No, same thing. Yeah, he's a centre back, but he's a solid one. It's just lacking a couple of skills, especially interception. So that's a bit of an issue with the skills. But apart from that, looks pretty solid to me. Right. Who is next? Lobotka is next. I like Lobotka. So, where are we? Where's my notes? So we've had a lot of Lobotka cards. We've had a few better ones, to be fair. This isn't the best Lobotka card. We've had a bunch of better highlight cards. We've had a few worse, though, as well. So it's kind of middle of the road, but it's not the most exciting Lobotka card. He's had a fairly mixed boost from his GP card. He's a bit better on the ball, bit more defensive awareness. I think the key really is a bit more physical contact, because that's the one difference between this and previous ones. The one kind of positive this one's got, especially mine, I've got the one that most people have got, the nominating contract one from a couple of years ago. It's a great card, but the one thing it really lacks is physical strength. His physical contact's like early mid 60s, something like that, which is not great for a defensive mid. They have actually boosted it on this one, so that's the one thing that this card's got over my one. Apart from that, though, it's not really got much on that nominating contract version. It's not one of the best versions of Lobotka. Still a decent enough one, though. We've got your face scan. Only standard form, that's a bit harsh to me. This guy's super consistent, if you ask me. He's pretty two-footed. Skill-wise, nothing's changed. Yet another orchestrator who's lovely on the ball. He's got all the passing and so on, but just nothing defensively, which is going to be a concern depending how you use him. But we'll go to eFootball Hub and have a look at how good he can be in any other ways in which you could use him. So, DMF or CMF. He starts off as a DMF, so this is with auto allocation. Let's just rule out a sneaky centre-back build first, because clearly he's tiny and he's lacking physical strength. He's not going to be a sneaky centre-back, but as a defensive mid, it's clear what he's going to be. He's going to be a deep line playmaker. He's not going to be brilliant defensively, although the stats are pretty good, actually. I say that. The defensive stats are good, but with the lack of physical strength, the lack of defensive skills, I mean, yeah. Mine's got interception and man marking, and even with the lack of physical contact, he's been fine for me as a DMF. He's done okay. I definitely wouldn't leave him as my sole DMF, but in some kind of double pivot, I would give him a few defensive skills, interception, man marking. I'll give him fighting spirit, definitely. Blocker. If he did that, then in some kind of defensive midfield role, like I say, some kind of double pivot, could be pretty handy. How high can you get that physical contact, actually? Because you can nick a few points of passing quite easily. Can we get him up to 80 physical contact? Yeah, we can. Look, easy. Could it be a lone DMF? I don't know. It's a bit of a stretch. I'm not sure he's big enough or strong enough, but yeah, like I say, certainly in some kind of double pivot, leave the passing at a pretty nice level, tidy on the ball. He's got that low centre of gravity as well. He feels pretty nippy, pretty responsive. Balance isn't as high as some of his previous ones. I think mine's got much higher balance than that, so that might be a bit of a downside. But yeah, more physical contact than he's normally got. I think it's some kind of double pivot as a deep line playmaker, like I say, with a few defensive skills, could be pretty handy. And then if you're going to move him up the pitch as a CMF, defending is not as important. I'll go back, just drop it down to 8 on defending. Just give him 90 ball control and tight possession, bit more dexterity. What's those last 2 points going? You're not going to make his shooting any good no matter what you do. Stick it back on nobody. Nice even build there. Yeah, as a centre mid, that's pretty neat actually. The attacking awareness isn't brilliant, but he's going to be hanging back a lot of the time. Playmaking from deep, lovely on the ball, and passing is good. Still got a bit of defensive ability. Still got that physical strength that we boosted a bit. It's pretty nice balance now. Bit of acceleration, stamina, yeah. As a centre mid, very nice. So like I say, it's not the best Lobotka card we've had, but he can certainly do a job for you. I think it's still a pretty good card, that. The fact he's got more physical contact than he normally does. Yeah, if you don't have a Lobotka card, you get this one. Pretty nice. I would just say, like, even as a CMF, 1 or 2 skills that beef him up a little bit defensively would be well worth doing. But with the passing, getting him on the ball, in my experience, like I say, I've got that nominating contract one. I imagine a lot of you got that nominating contract one. It's a lovely card. Feels neat on the ball. It's got a bit of everything. Yeah, if you don't have a Lobotka card, this is a pretty good one. So yeah, for the Italian League Challenge, it can be pretty handy. But just in general, it's a neat card. This as an attacking midfielder, if you took away even more from defending, get all those points off physical strength. Ooh, could be very interesting actually. Yeah, got a load on dexterity. Ooh, I'll tell you what, as an attacking mid, he looks alright, doesn't he? He's very nice. So you have to use a position trainer, or maybe 1,000 position trainers, because position trainers absolutely suck. It might take you 1,000, who knows? But nice passing, lovely on the ball. Attacking awareness is still not amazing, but it's better. Yes, his shooting absolutely sucks, but just stick the pass in the ball. A little bit of defensive ability still left over there, but acceleration at 90, bounce 91. Good stamina. He's got the passing skills. Yeah, I'll give him a few. Maybe give him a few shooting skills, but like I say, even with shooting skills, I wouldn't be doing too much shooting with him. I'll just maybe give him outside curler, although he doesn't really need it. What would you give him? Doesn't need a lot really, does he? He's going to be lovely on the ball, lovely passing. He could be a pretty tidy attacking mid, you know. Pretty tidy. Yeah, if you don't have a Lobotka, I think that could be a pretty handy one. So yeah, DMF, depending on what your kind of midfield setup is, DMF or CMF, pretty nice. Attacking mid. Looks really neat. Could be very effective. You could make him a wide midfield. It's telling us 100 rated wide midfield with that build. I mean, he needs a bit more speed, surely. Let's just see attacking mid. Hang on. Even if I leave the low pass at 90, we can probably... Oh, we can't do much on this speed yet, can we? Hang on. Hang on, then. Can we make him quick enough? If we do all the points of passing... I mean, even that didn't do much, did it? Damn. How about that? How about that for a wide mid? Maybes? Maybes. I mean, if you give him pinpoint crossing, training for the right, could be a decent right winger. Could have a decent cross on him. Left midfield, maybe he's going to long range curler, but his finishing will be terrible. Yeah, I don't know. You could certainly make him good enough statistically to be a pretty decent wide mid, but I don't think that's really the best way to use the blocker. I think somewhere in the middle of your midfield is the best way to use this guy. So yeah, I'll just stick him back to his auto allocation DMF. Or will I? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think he's pretty tidy. Like I say, it's not the best Lobotka card we've had. I think a lot of people looked at this card and compared him and just thought, well, he's not as good as the previous ones. Maybe not so great. And obviously, if you've got a better one, then it goes without saying you don't really need this one. But he's physically stronger than he normally is. And if you don't have a Lobotka card especially, I think this is a really tidy one. There's a bunch of roles you could give him in your midfield. And he's got some really nice attributes. And like I say, in my personal experience, feels lovely on the ball. Very neat card, that. It's a tidy one. If you pick this Lobotka card out, you've not got one already. Happy days. I think you've got a very nice midfield option, especially for the Italian League change. Right, who's next? We got the big man. Hello, we got Big Vanja. The bearded beast. So, Milinković-Savić. I've got the Showtime one, which is great, but very expensive for some of us. Cough, cough. We've had a few versions of Milinković-Savić. We've had a few Player of the Weeks. This one's got a higher overall rating when you max him out compared to his Player of the Week cards, but with the Player of the Week goalies, they always nerf the jumping and make the goalie attributes a bit higher. So the overall rank can be a bit misleading on Player of the Week goalkeepers. So although this one's got a higher overall rating, if you check the stats, his best Player of the Week card is just about as good, to be honest, arguably even slightly better. And the next two aren't too far off either. So you might not really need this one. Apart from Showtime, I've had a couple of highlights, but they're not quite as good as this one. So this is a pretty good Milinković-Savić card. Obviously not the best with that Showtime, but it's up there. It's a pretty good version outside of that Showtime card. And he's had a fairly even boost from his GP card. It's the catching, powering, and reflexes that have had the biggest boost, really. So yeah, where are we at? Standard form again. Can't see that's hidden. Attacking goalie, low punt, high punt, long throw. Got some good skills distribution-wise. But let's train him up. Let's go over to the hub. And that is definitely not Milinković-Savić. That is the opposite of Milinković-Savić. There's Milinković-Savić. Right. Bosh. Solid. So you look at the attributes of first thing. Well, they're not that high, but he's absolutely ginormous. And he's got really good arm coverage as well. And that does compensate for the stats. So this might not be an amazing goal card. And like I say, it's not in the same league as his Showtime card, but this is a solid keeper. I had a Player of the Week version. I got the highest rated Player of the Week version of this guy, and it is always solid for me. His height carries his other stats. Yeah, exactly, Amir. That's the thing. You know, it's not going to make him suddenly amazing, but it does definitely make a difference. I found that with his Player of the Week card, being as massive as he is, the stats kind of don't look that great, but he's just got that much coverage of his goal. This Vanja seems far worse than his most recent Player of the Week. Not far worse. When I compared them, pretty similar. Like I say, if you compare the stats, that most recent Player of the Week may be slightly better with the core goalie attributes, but not a massive difference at all. Fairly similar, so overall. He's scoring for me in my RTG. I'm guessing you're not talking about Milinković-Savić. Right, back to eFootball Hub. So, yeah, a point on passing there. 4 on aerial. Let's take all those points back. Can we get a few? Oh, I was going to say, can we get a few to 90? I mean, I don't want to go to 30 and then goalie 1. You could do that if you really want to hit 90 for goalie awareness, but that's not the most efficient way to do it. Although you're only going to be able to increase one of these attributes by 1. We've only got 5 points there, so you could get goalie awareness to 90. You could say that with his coverage, his kind of physical stat sheet, you don't need a lot of reach, so you could knock a bit off his reach. Then you've got 8 points. Could do that. I personally would do that. I think that gives him a bit more, slightly more balanced build. It'd be nice if we could get some of those attributes to 90, but like I say, a guy with as much coverage of his goal as this guy's got. I'm going to put his last 2 points on passing. I think this guy is actually better than the stats look. You know, you see some goalies in Player of the Week and you get like 3 or 4 goalie attributes over 90, thinking, well, that guy's good. And then you see the arm coverage is like 170, he's only about 6'1". This guy's about 11 feet tall. He's going to cover most of the goal. He doesn't even need to dive half the time. So, yeah, I'm not going to mug anyone off and say this is one of the best goalie cards you can get. It's obviously not, because, you know, all these attributes are in the 80s. But with the size of him, you know, he's got the distribution skills. I just hope he plays more this season so he gets some form so I can use my Showtime card. But this is like I say, outside of the Showtime card, this is near enough as good as we've had of Milinković-Savić. And that physical stature that he's got does compensate for those stats and make him very solid. So it's a very good usable keeper, very solid one. Like I say, and in my experience, I got that Player of the Week one that's fairly similar, and he's not let me down. So yeah, if you get this guy, you can definitely do a job for you. Be a solid goalkeeper option. Who's next? Up to the last two. Oh, McTominay with the booster. Right, someone in chat remind me to do the booster because I always forget. Where are my notes on McSauce? So obviously we've had quite a few McTominay cards. Well, first thing to note with this McTominay card, they've changed its registered position from DMF to CMF, which makes absolutely no difference whatsoever to anything because he can still play both positions and they're not changing anything else. So that makes no difference. There's literally no point in them doing that. Still, he can't play any attacking position at all, and he's not even semi-proficient in any attacking position, even though he only seems to play in attacking positions for Napoli. But I guess that doesn't matter if you don't watch football, because whoever does these cards on eFootball apparently doesn't watch football. But yeah, centre mid and defensive mid, you can make him an attacking mid, and I'm going to build him for attacking mid because Ballard asked me to, but I was going to do that anyway. And you can make him a centre back. So we're going to look at all those. He's only got standard form. Again, I think that's harsh. He's been consistent over the past season. If you've just been named the MVP of Serie A, then I would like to think that gives you pretty much unwavering form. Does it not? I don't know. And skill-wise, have they changed anything skill-wise? No. Nothing changed there. So he's got a decent selection skills, but he needs one-touch pass and through passing. That's the important thing with this McTominay card. If you're going to play him as a centre mid or an attacking mid, he needs one-touch pass and through passing. If you're going to play him as a defensive mid, I would suggest you need to give him 1 or 2 more defensive skills. He's got interception, but you could do with man marking block as well if you play him as a DMF. And we'll come to centre back as well. I don't know if he's going to be any good as a centre back. We'll find out in a bit, but certainly he's got a few shooting skills there. Soul control. He's got heading. Could give him aerial. Looks like he'll be okay in there. He's very tall, 6'4". It's easy to forget how tall he is. Jumping's not amazing though, so he's not going to be a monster in the air by any means, but he's got heading at least. But yeah, one touch and through are the 2 most important ones. You might need some defensive ones if you're going to play him in a defensive position. But let's jump over to eFootball and see how good he is in each of his positions. Where is he? McTominay. There he is. Right, so I'll get more maxed out. Let's have a quick look at my notes and other versions. So I've had a few Player of the Weeks. They're obviously all a bit different. I've had a right midfielder, I've had a centre forward. As a centre midfielder, this one looks like he's a bit better than any of his Player of the Week cards. But like I say, with his Player of the Week cards, have all got kind of different builds, different profiles. He's had a Showtime, is obviously one of the better versions of him. He's had a Big Time. In fact, has he had a Showtime and a Big Time, or just the Big Time? I've got the Big Time. If you've got the Big Time, obviously that's the best version of him. You can make him a very good centre mid, attack mid, defensive mid, or centre back. Make him a brilliant centre back, actually. But outside of those paid cards, it's about as good as any highlight card I've had of McTominay, possibly even the best. He's had a fairly even boost from his GP card. The biggest boost really is on his pace, bit of a boost on his pace. And yeah, he's looking pretty solid. As a kind of an all-rounder, could be very decent as a centre mid. Like I say, he just needs one touch pass and through passing, really. Where are we? His most recent Player of the Week had 3 goalie stats over 90. Milinković-Savić? I don't think so. I was a bit late reading that, sorry. Yeah, I don't think he did. I think he might be mistaken on that. Hopefully I'm not, but yeah. Yeah. Has the body build for centre back? Yeah, he does. So yeah, again, 6'4" McTominay. Vertical reach, not amazing. But this isn't, obviously he's not built for a centre back yet. But this is as a centre back, I wouldn't change a lot for a centre midfield. I would nick a couple off lower body maybes. That's the one place you could probably spare some points. And I would nudge his tackling up to the 80 mark. I think I just put the last 2 points in defending as well. It'd be nice to get him a bit more dexterity. But he's always going to feel a bit clunky as a big tall guy. He's not going to get that balance to a good level. So I'd do that, I think. Just nudge his defenses off a bit, get the tackling over 80. Centre midfield, if you give him one-touch pass and through passing, especially, very solid. Could be a decent option for you. Very comparable to right guard. Might be a stretch for this card, certainly the big time card. But yeah, this one looks solid. Centre mid. Let's do an attacking mid build. That's what Ballard wanted. And then we'll move on to those two defensive positions. We can make him a winger as well. Should we do a crossbound McTominay? Let's do attacking mid first. So attacking mid. Not got that many points to spare from down here, so I'm not sure how good we're going to get here. You could go straight up to the 80 mark for attack awareness. And then there's two that you've got left. Put them on, I guess, shooting. He's not amazing on the ball for an attacking mid, but he'll have the passing. If you give him one touch pass and through passing. Attacking awareness decent, finishing not too bad, got a few shooting skills. He could do a job there. I think that's what I would do as an attacking mid, to be honest. You don't have an awful lot of points to play with. I wouldn't dip low on lower body. Pace isn't too important as an attacking mid, but stamina, attacking mids are always... There's always been the one position where players get tired quickest on players in eFootball, so I would leave the lower body there. He needs some attacking awareness on him. You don't want to dip below 90 on passing, and then dribbling is not that great on the ball anyways. So then I'll just stick those last two and shooting, and I'll be done with it. I think that's what I'd do as an attacking mid. I don't think he looks amazing. And like I say, he does need one touch pass and through passing. Maybe his first time shot, but could be decent. He's different. Big physical guy in that part of the pitch. A little bit of defensive ability skill. Still. So yeah, as an attacking mid, could be alright. Is it worth the position trainers? Don't know. Maybes. I could definitely do a job for you if you want a big physical dude there, but you need some position trainers and some skill trainers to really make him decent there, I think. Wide midfield, crossband McTominay? I don't think so. But again, I mean, where are you going to get the points from? Do you need the low enough to pass that high? Not really. I would take those points away like that, and then how quick can you make McTominay? I'm guessing not that quick, yeah. So he's got an average amount of pace there. He's not the quickest, not brilliant on the ball. Even if you're getting pinpoint crossing, 85 lofted, okay, decent. Curl 69, yeah. Kicking power, decent. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure many people are going to be position training this guy and skill training to make him a right winger to spam some crosses in. Left midfield, he's going to be nimble enough on the left wing, cutting inside. He's got long range curler. He's got soul control. Maybe. What if we nick a bit more of passing? We get that shooting up to 80, yep. It could be all right left midfield, I guess, but again, he's not the quickest. He's not amazing on the ball. How many people are going to want to position train McTominay to play as a left winger? I'm guessing probably nobody. So let's move to DMF. Let's make him a defensive midfielder. Right, where are we? Where's the points going to come from? Let's go down all the way to 4 on dexterity. That's where we started in dexterity, isn't it? And we nick those couple of lower body. Stay at 8 on. Let's go down to 6 dribbling. We're going to do a defensive build here. So we're going to scrimp a bit on these technicals. I know most people think these technicals don't need to be too high in a DMF, so that's the kind of build we're going to do. So we can just go straight to 12 and defending, to be honest. Or you could go a little bit lower and... Actually, no, because the defensive awareness isn't great. He's got a bit of physical strength anyways. Yeah, I think DMF I'd do something like that. I don't know. Would be an amazing Hullet like SS or centre forward. Yeah, it's a shame you can't train him as an SS or a centre forward. I was really hoping on his big time card you could, because he played either... I mean, he wasn't really a striker at any point last season, to be honest, but he was up and around the attack a lot of the season. I'm really annoyed they didn't make him at least semi-proficient, so you could have made him a striker or SS. It could have been really interesting there. But yeah, same situation with this one. Can't push him that high up the pitch, but DMF with that kind of a build, I think he looks all right. I don't think he looks amazing. He's not got a huge amount of physical strength, and I always say I personally like a bit more technically on a DMF, but certainly he's got a lot of strengths there. He will need a few defensive skills, like I say. Man marking and block would be the two skills I think that he really needs, and then one touch pass and through passing, even as a DMF, I think would be well worth giving him. So, yeah, solid as a DMF, could be a decent option in the time they change, but I don't think he looks amazing. Certainly needs a few skills. And then finally, can you make him a sneaky centre back? I'm going to guess, yeah. Ish. 87 defensive awareness, fully boosted, is not amazing. That's with an 89 rated manager as well. Physical strength's alright. Vertical reach, yeah, that's alright. 276. Give Mero superiority. Are there any points we can nick from anywhere? Let's nick a bit of pace, because we need a bit more. I mean, is that worth it? I don't know. I'm just going to do that. I think I'm just going to do that. I think he's fine, to be honest, as he is. Yeah. Is it worth making him a centre-back? I don't know. He's not amazing. I mean, if you're looking at a centre-back card and he trained up like that, you say, well, maybe the jumping's a bit low, but then you say, well, the vertical reaches are right. And you can say the defensive awareness is a little bit on the low side, but it could be worse. So, yeah, I think as a centre-back, he's okay. I mean, down the left, he's nice for a centre-back. But, yeah, aerially, maybe a slight concern. Defensive awareness, a bit of a concern. No concerns over the aggression. He's going to be very, very aggressive. Yeah, definitely an option, but you need to give him a bunch of skills. Area superiority, man marking, blocker, acrobatic clearance, maybe sliding tackle, possibly. Don't know. But you need, I think, at least 3 or 4 skills there defensively. But it is an option if for some reason you'd rather make McTominay a centre-back than a midfielder. But you've got a few ways you can use him. And in each of those ways, I think it could be decent. I don't think he's amazing in any of those positions. I'll just leave him back on centre-mid auto-allocation to finish. But, yeah. Yeah, 16 on defending. Yeah, it's not the most efficient, is it? It's a bit of a stretch, but you can make him usable. So, yeah, I don't think in any of his positions he's amazing. I think it's a solid one, though. You can make him a solid attacking mid, solid centre mid, solid defensive mid. You can make him a pretty solid centre back. In any of those positions, there are going to be some skills needed, though. Like I say, any kind of midfield position, one touch and through passing. Any defensive position, man marking, blocker at least. And certainly as a centre back, he needs 1 or 2 more. But he's a good McTominay card on the whole. A few ways you can use him. Versatile. Could be a very handy one for the Italian League change. So, oh, I didn't add the boosters. Finally, someone reminded me. Oh, I've gone through all those positions without a booster. Right. Hang on then, hang on. Let's start a centre-back. Can we get him to 90 defensive awareness? I mean, we can't, but should we do it just for the hell of it? Because you actually can with a booster. Bang, there you go. 90 defensive awareness. Is it worth it? 17 on defending? No, it's not. Let's be honest, it's not. Let's go back down to 88 defensive awareness. Let's go to 16 on defending there. And those 6 points. What are we doing with those 6 points? I'll just do what I did just now, which is that, basically. Right. So then the booster, yeah, you got dueling. Defending. I always say, I know I'm a Scrooge with these second boosters, but +1 on a few attributes. Bothered. Does it really make that much difference? No. Is it worth fanning on? Just stick a few randoms on. You get something that's remotely relevant. Agility, aerial, defending, dueling, hard worker, 100 aggression, nice. Physicality, shutdown. They're all good on McTominay as a centre-back. Do a few randoms, you'll get one of them and you'll be fine. Defensive midfielder. Right, what did I do as a defensive mid? Let's just do auto allocation. Is that pretty much what I did? It's not far off, is it? I think as a DMF, I would. I think again, there's no real glaring weakness. I think one that gives him a bit more defensive awareness makes the most sense. So again, you got shutdown. I would say shutdown, dueling, defending. Yeah, shutdown, dueling, or defending as a DMF. Any of those. One that includes defensive awareness, because that's the one defensive attribute that's a bit on the low side. Boosters don't really matter in my opinion. Yeah, same. A lot of people do like to, do like to make the most of them. I do understand that. I just think they're just not. They don't make it enough of a difference to be really worth spending that much time on them. DMF build with 100 aggression is nice. Yeah. See you later, man. Take it easy, dude. Good to see you, man. Less technical and passing 80. Yeah. Yeah. Right, let's go to centre mid. What boost are we giving him for a centre mid? I left him pretty much auto allocation, didn't I? No, I didn't. I boosted his defences a bit. That was a nice, easy one. Right, as a centre mid, I would make him a bit better on the ball. In fact, what I'd do, I'd dip that passing one lower, free up 3 points, put that straight on technique, makes him a bit better on the ball, nudges that low pass to 90, and we've got 3 points, which I'd put on aerial, +3 on physical contact. I think that's a nice, efficient build. Yeah, I would aim for technique. Again, though, centre mid, there's a bunch of different boosts you can give him. Something that improves him a bit on the ball. Depends how you're going to use him. If you're concerned about the defending, you can give him a defensive boost, defending, dueling, physicality, something like that. There's a bunch that could help him, but I think that would be the most efficient way for me as a centre mid to build him something like that and give him technique, nudges low pass up to 90. You get 3 points to put somewhere else. I think I'd do that. And then attacking mid. What did I do for attacking mid? I might do the same technique again for attacking mid, actually, because passing is the one we got the most points on. Let's do that technique again. Yeah, I think that's what I'd do. And then we got those 3 points to spare. You could put those 3 points on shooting. That might make sense. Yeah, I think that's what I'd do. Attack midfield, I'll give him the technique boost as well. So yeah, centre mid or attack mid, I'll give him technique. DMF or centre back, I'll just pick just about any defensive, you know, any booster that's based on defending, really. So there's your second booster ideas. And yeah, in general, solid card. I don't think he's amazing anywhere, but any of those positions he's got there, from centre back all the way up to attack midfield, he could be pretty solid. So it's a pretty handy card. That is versatile. It's a good solid version of McTominay, and you got a little second booster slot if you want to improve a few of his stats by 1. How exciting! So yeah, solid McTominay card. That I think a fair few people will be pretty happy if they pick him up. Right, I've got one more left, and it's the guy whose name I can't pronounce because commentators always pronounce it differently. Beukema. I'm going to say Beukema, and I'm probably going to be wrong. So we got a build-up centre-back with a face scan with some slightly iffy looking hair. Build-up centre-back, only standard form again. A lot of standard form in this pack. Skill-wise, have they changed anything there? I think they have. Where's my notes? Yeah, fighting spirit and blocker are new apparently. So fighting spirit and blocker, 2 nice additions. We've got heading and aerial, and then man marking, search and blocker, sliding, acrobatic, fighting spirit. That to me it's like a complete set of skills for a centre back. We've got low lofted passes, our only non-defending skill really. So yeah, nice set of skills for a centre back. This. Let's just get straight over to the hub and train him up, see how good this card is. I got a version of him recently actually. It's kind of solid. It's not amazing. I'm guessing this one's going to be a bit better. See. Right. Yeah, pretty solid looking. He's better than mine. Damn. Well, yeah, we've had a few versions of this guy. There's no Player of the Week card when he's at RZ in the Netherlands. That's not a good card. Apart from that, it's about as good as any highlight we've had of him. Pretty even boost from his GP card. Biggest boost is to his pace. Yeah, apart from that though, yeah, he's looking pretty solid. You got more than you need in defending there. Again, it's one of these inefficient builds. You don't need to go to 13 defending. I'll take those 4 points. I'll nudge his physical contact to 90. And that last point, I don't know where it's going to go. I think I'm going to take 1 off dexterity and put 1 more on lower body. Yeah. In fact, you can you can take a bit more off his defending. You can get his speed up to 80. How exciting. And back up to 4 dexterity. There you go. Bang. Easy. Easy build. That's a nice solid build-up centre back, that. Skills are absolutely fine. Defensive attributes are strong. He's physically strong. Jumping's decent. What's the vertical reach? 275. That's all right. It's not amazing. It's all right, though. He's just a good solid all-round centre back, this. Heading's not amazing. Low pass is decent for a centre back. Reasonable pace. Yeah, sort of this hairstyle Bergwijn looks like he used to get summons to the headmaster's office in school for using hair gel before going to school. He got summons the headmaster for that? That's harsh. Damn. Yeah, solid centre back that. I think it's a decent one. I've not really used mine much yet. I used him a couple of times, I think, just against the AI. It's been alright. This one looks slightly better. I think it's a solid centre back card there. I don't see any real weakness. He doesn't desperately need any skills. Yeah, I don't think there's a great deal to say really. It's just a solid centre back card. And like I say, I would just shuffle a few points like that. I don't see any real weakness there. He's got a bit of everything. He's not amazing. But yeah, it's a solid centre back card. They've stuck a couple of nice skills in there to kind of complete that skill set. Good card, that. Solid card. Could you make him a fullback? Probably not. Not really. Speed's kind of not quite quick enough. Acceleration, definitely not. Yeah, I don't fancy this guy as a fullback. Defensive mid will be the same situation. Yeah, but as a centre back, whether you go with the auto allocation or balance out the build a little bit like I did, pretty solid. I'll be pleased if I pick that one up. I don't think he's much better than the one I've got, but I think he's a bit quicker at least. So yeah, it's a nice looking centre back card. That a nice tidy option for the Italian League Challenge. And yeah, it might not be an amazing centre back, but it's definitely a good one. No weaknesses there that I can see. It's a solid centre back card, that. And that is the pack. So there is your Napoli pack review. It's all right, that. I think there's a whole bunch of solid cards in there. I don't think it's an amazing one. Is it worth throwing some coins at? Don't think so, really. Certainly not a bad one. I think if you're fairly new to the game, if you like Napoli, or if you just like the look of some of these players, I think for about 800 coins to clear the pack, you could definitely do worse. I think. I mean, all these cards are solid. I think probably the weakest card out of the lot is Spinazzola. But if you don't mind the fullback finisher playing style, he's all right. He could do a job for you. Noa Lang is pretty tidy from the left. You've got a few ways you can use him. And they tweaked his playing style and his position and given him a couple of skills. Rrahmani, he needs skills, doesn't he? He needed interception and maybe fighting spirit. So The skill situation with Rrahmani may be a bit of a concern, but he's a solid centre-back, as is Beukema. He does not need new skills. Lobotka, a bit physically stronger than most previous versions, which is one area where he does lack as a small, weak guy. But apart from that, some of his attributes aren't as high as they sometimes are, so it's not the best Lobotka card, but it does look like a very tidy card. Neres, pretty handy one. Like with Noa Lang, you've got a wide man, inverted winger, can play on both flanks. A few ways you can use him, pretty tidy. I like my Neres. Milinković-Savić, are the stats amazing? No. Is his physical profile amazing? Yes. So on the whole, you got a solid goalkeeper card there. And then McTominay. It's a solid McTominay card with a bunch of ways you can use him and a super exciting second booster slot. So, yeah, I think that's a solid pack. Delete saying this week's player of the week is better value than this pack. Yeah, I think you're right. I agree with you, Delete. I think this is a solid pack, this, but I think player of the week this week is a solid one. So, yeah, I would agree with you on that. But I think this pack, you know, for people who've been playing the game a while, if you've got a lot of kind of legends and Showtime and whatever else, I don't think there's a lot to be had from this pack. But if you don't have that many solid options for the Italian League Challenge, and especially if you're quite new to the game and you're looking at this pack thinking, you know, maybe you've got like 300 or 400 coins, you're thinking, is it worth spending a few times? I think if you put a few hundred coins on this and you're fairly new to the game, you're probably going to get at least some reasonable value for that. I do think it's an okay pack, but like I say, not the most exciting one. I think for a lot of people who've got pretty strong squads by now, there's a limit to how much value you're going to get from this. But certainly, for the most part, I think just Spinazzola and maybe Rrahmani, depending on the skill situation, maybe the two weak ones in the pack. But even those ones aren't too bad. And I think all the other ones in this pack are pretty solid. So there you go. There's my review of that pack. Hopefully that you found that useful. If you're not watching live, then thank you for watching. Appreciate it. I'll be reviewing the new nominating contract pack soon. That's hopefully going to arrive tomorrow morning. So keep your eyes out for that. Keep your eyes out for streams. Jump in the Discord if you're not already there. And I'll see you next time. Bye.